Hi, today we're doing the liner notes for the second song on Passenger, Loom. The name of the song Loom comes from the first word of the second verse, loom under a waxen sliver, hallucinating you, crane your neck to find. In my mind, it's sort of like a love triangle. The storyteller is watching as somebody else experiences the euphoria of being part of the universe. The storyteller at the same time is experiencing that by being a part of the story, they are not as much of an outsider as they otherwise would have imagined. This song for me embodies something I think about a lot, the passing of time in relation to a space in particular. Think of a time lapse of a train station or an airport. How does it feel when you watch something like that and you connect the human emotions, aspirations, hopes, and dreams to one physical space? So, quick interjection before I continue. This was the first song that I wrote for Passenger. I wrote it like days after hitting publish on Tri-State. It's kind of a funny thing how songwriting works, or any sort of creation works, because I know for me, I go into this place where I kind of like put out a large body of work and then need to like vacation from my own brain. And sometimes you go to do that and you do it effectively and you don't make anything for 6 months, and sometimes you do that and you think you're going to be vacationing from your own brain and you put something out and it's really genuine or it's really honest. So when I first met Claire visiting the home that she grew up in, she would tell me stories from her childhood and show me photos from her childhood, and I started practicing imagining those different versions of her in the spaces that we were occupying together in a later moment in her life. The practice of this exercise helped me deepen and broaden my love for her, I think. It helped me sort of complete the vision of a person who was not just the person in front of me, who I had love for and have love for, but all of these people that have been different people who maybe she's experienced difficulty loving. I think that's a really good practice for anybody that you care about, to try to love not just the person who's in front of you, but the versions of and the parts of them that they hold within themselves that are more troubling to the person who's in front of you, if that makes any sense. So I would walk through her childhood home or through her childhood town, and I would imagine these younger versions of her, and I would send them love, and it birthed this song. So this piece came about, I was standing at the edge of a lake in the middle of winter. I had dropped Claire home and was returning to my own home, and decided to stop on a winter's day at this lake. It was covered in ice, the sun was setting, but I guess maybe the residual heat from the sun was beginning to crack or crackle the ice, and there were these whispers, there were these long shatters that would occur, just quiet with the wind, and it sounded like whispers. I was thinking about this exercise as I stood in this space that generally is occupied in summers by lots of like screaming, joy-filled children and vacationing families, and at this moment was empty and bare, and all the trees were bare, and the animals were silent, and it was just me. And I imagined Claire and I existing in this space together as children. I imagined something that never got to be. We didn't know each other until we were adults, but I got to imagine just, romping with her or joining with her, and there was this strange, ethereal sort of catalyzing element, which was the sounds around me. I have a recording actually of the whispers on that lake. That was the inception of this song, standing there and imagining what it felt like to view myself with her, to view her, to think about the metaphors and symbology of water, bathing in water. There was this setting sun that was beautiful. There was this vapor coming off of this frozen lake. And there was just so much going on, and so many ideas of like parallel landscapes happening, like parallel snapshots of the moments that would have passed. So for me, loom is the storyteller. It's viewing from afar. It's the object, it's the verb. A person is nothing if not a loom of stories. So the beginning of the song is actually the end of the song. Originally it just started with the piano and voice. Boom, whispers over, like that. But somewhere along the way, in writing down the lyrics and writing down the piece and starting to analyze what it meant to me. That kind of happens a lot. Starting to write lyrics or words or imagery and then taking the time necessary to understand why I'm thinking about that. So I was doing that, I was realizing what this song meant to me. The viewer viewing somebody in an experience, realizing that they are part of the experience itself. So it's like the viewer being viewed, this like sort of cyclical thing. And I realized that really the end, all I can see is your eyes. All I can see is you. You know, this idea of all these other things are happening, or these moments of euphoria, and all I can see is you, and the you being, oh my God, what does even the you mean? It could mean the location, it could mean the godliness of the moment, it could mean the subject of the person that I'm watching. It's everything. Maybe the you is myself, right? It's like, it's a song of reflection. So to start, you know, and that matters too within the composition. If I end the song with all I can see is you, then I'm talking linearly about this person that I'm watching. But if I start the song with all I can see is you, I've made it cyclical. Who is singing that first line? It's the whispers on the lake that are singing that first line. And then to aid that on top as just, you know, layers on layers on layers of like the same metaphor, something that wouldn't necessarily be literally comprehended, I think, is that I took a live version of myself, just piano and voice playing loom, in this church from like last December, and I slowed it down and I took a part of it and I added that into the introduction of the song. So it's all these different layers of the same piece happening in different ways, in different moments, different retellings of the same non-existent moment. I've always really loved songs that have one motif and then another motif and then find a way to combine the two. It's like a really simple tool that just gets me every single time. I wanted to try something different with the lyrics here, so I did parentheticals. The main lyrics of the first two verses are descriptive of the events unfolding directly in front of the storyteller, while the parentheticals are the events happening around the storyteller. The sun dips low, landscape, but also main character. She tastes her reflection, the sun, but also the you, hallucinating you. The sun, but also the me. It's another one of those things where I'm not sure anyone could ever deduce that, but if I'm able to take that information or that feeling and synthesize it in the piece itself, that's a success. So this has been the liner notes for Loom. If you have any questions or want further clarifications or want to chat about something, you can respond here or you can ask in the Discord chat. Moving forward, as I prepare to record each liner note, I'm happy to have a conversation in our Discord chat. And if you have a question that you want answered in particular relating to that song, maybe I can even respond here, because sometimes it just makes more sense to talk about it with my voice than to just have a discourse about it in a chat conversation. So if that's of interest to you, keep your eyes out on the Discord. I will update as I'm days ahead of recording each liner notes, and we can prepare together. I will see you for the next one.